Look at your hands right now. If you're watching this on a phone, there is a high chance your thumb is already twitching to swipe away the second I stop being entertaining. That's not a lack of willpower. That is a physiological alarm bell. Most of you clicked on this video because you think you're lazy. You think you're a procrastinator. You think there's some fundamental flaw in your DNA that makes you sit on the couch for 4 hours, staring at a wall while your assignments pile up and your dreams rot in the corner of your mind. But I'm going to tell you something that might actually make you want to cry with relief. You aren't lazy. You don't have a character flaw. What you actually have is dopamine debt. You've been taking out high interest loans on your brain's pleasure chemicals for years, and now the collectors have come to call. If you don't understand how to pay this debt back, you will spend the next 10 years of your life stuck in the same gray loop, wondering why you can't just get it together like everyone else. Imagine your brain as a literal bank account. Every time you do something difficult, like hitting a heavy set at the gym, finishing a difficult chapter of a textbook, or finally recording that first video, you're making a deposit. It's slow, it's steady, and the interest builds over time. But every time you hit that infinite scroll, every time you watch just one more short form video at 2 a.m., and every time you choose the instant hit of sugar over a real meal, you are taking out a loan. You're getting the reward now without doing the work. The problem is that your brain's interest rates are predatory. Eventually, your baseline dopamine levels drop below zero. This is the dopamine debt phase. It's that specific kind of exhaustion where you're tired, but you can't sleep. You're bored, but you can't focus on a movie. You're hungry for success, but the thought of opening a laptop makes you feel physically nauseous. You've overspent, and now your brain has literally shut down your ability to feel motivated because it's trying to protect itself from total bankruptcy. But here's where it gets scary. If you stay in debt long enough, your brain starts to rewire itself to only respond to emergency levels of stimulation. That's why you can only finish your school essays at 3 a.m. the night before they're due. You've desensitized yourself so much that only the panic of failing provides enough dopamine to get you to move. You are living in a state of constant survival mode, and you're calling it laziness. It's a trap, but wait until you see what happens when you flip the script. Because once you understand the hard truth framework, you realize that you can actually engineer your way back to a high performance brain. You can make hard work feel as easy as scrolling, but you have to be willing to go through the withdrawal process first. The first step to paying off your dopamine debt is the low stimulus Sunday. Most people try to do a dopamine detox for a month, fail by Tuesday, and feel even worse. Forget that. We're going to start small. For just 4 hours this Sunday, you are going to be profoundly bored. No phone, no music, no podcasts, no talking. Just you, a notebook, and a pen. In the beginning, your brain is going to scream at you. You'll feel an actual physical itch to check your notifications. That itch, that's the debt collector. That is your brain begging for an easy loan. If you can sit through that discomfort for just 90 minutes, something miraculous happens. The world starts to look high definition again. You'll find yourself looking at a tree or a pattern on the wall and actually finding it interesting. This is your baseline resetting. You're teaching your brain that it doesn't need a constant IV drip of salt, sugar, and blue light to survive. But resetting is only half the battle. If you go right back to your old habits on Monday morning, you're just taking out another loan. This leads us to the second pillar of the framework, friction engineering. You think you're weak because you can't stop checking your phone, but the truth is you're just a victim of design. Thousands of the smartest engineers in the world are paid millions of dollars to keep you addicted to that screen. You can't beat them with willpower alone. You have to beat them with friction. Tonight, before you go to bed, put your phone in a different room. Not on your nightstand, not under your pillow, in a completely different room. If you want to check it in the morning, you have to physically stand up, walk across the house, and fetch it. That 10-second walk is enough time for your prefrontal cortex to wake up and ask, is this really what we want to do? Usually the answer is no. By adding 10 seconds of friction to your bad habits and removing 10 seconds of friction from your good ones, like laying your gym clothes out on your keyboard, You stop being a slave to your impulses. Now, let's talk about the creator's tax. This is for those of you who want to build something, a YouTube channel, a brand, a side hustle, but you keep falling off the wagon. You start with high energy, post for 3 days, and then disappear for a month. You think you've lost your passion. No, you've just hit the boredom barrier. Every great achievement has a hidden tax of absolute mind-numbing boredom. The reason 99% of creators fail is that they are addicted to the newness of a project. When the initial dopamine hit of starting wears off, they think the project is dead. But the hard truth is that the magic happens in the mundane. To pay off your debt here, you have to embrace micro wins. Stop trying to change your life in a day. Instead, commit to the rule of one. 1 page, 1 minute of exercise, 1 sentence of code, 1 raw edit. When the task is that small, the dopamine debt doesn't feel as heavy. You're making small, consistent deposits into your bank account, and those deposits are what build real, lasting confidence. But here is the micro cliffhanger you weren't expecting. What if I told you that your environment is actually poisoning your dopamine levels without you even touching a screen? Think about your room. Is it messy? Are there old food wrappers, piles of clothes, and zero natural light? Your brain is a pattern matching machine. If your environment screams chaos and low effort, your brain will match that frequency. You are subconsciously telling yourself that you aren't worth a clean space, which lowers your self-worth, which lowers your dopamine baseline. It's a feedback loop of failure. Spend 10 minutes, just 10, resetting your physical space tonight. Clean air, a clear desk, and one plant can do more for your mental health than a dozen motivational videos ever could. You are creating a sanctuary for your focus. We also have to address social dopamine. We are social animals, but we've replaced real connection with parasocial interaction. You're watching creators live their lives and your brain is getting a fake social hit. You feel like you've hung out with friends, but you're actually sitting alone in a dark room. This creates a massive debt because you aren't getting the actual oxytocin and serotonin that comes from real human touch and eye contact. To fix this, you need a digital buffer. No social media for the first hour of the day and the last hour of the night. Use that time to talk to a human being or even just pet your dog. It sounds cliche, but these slow chemicals are the antidote to the fast dopamine that is currently burning out your receptors. The most dangerous part of dopamine debt is the shame spiral. You realize you've wasted the day, so you feel bad. Because you feel bad, you want comfort. Because you want comfort, you reach for your phone to scroll, and the cycle repeats. To break this, you have to practice strategic forgiveness. If you mess up and scroll for 3 hours, don't tell yourself, the day is ruined. That is the debt collector talking. Instead, say, okay, I just took out a high-interest loan. I'm going to pay it back right now by doing 5 minutes of work. You don't need a fresh start on Monday. You don't need a fresh start tomorrow. You need a fresh start right now. Your brain is incredibly plastic. It wants to heal. It wants to give you that feeling of drive and ambition again. You just have to stop suffocating it. As we move toward 2025, the world is only going to get louder. The AI-generated content, the hyper-personalized ads, the VR worlds, it's all designed to keep you in permanent debt. The superpower of the next decade isn't being the smartest or the fastest. It is being the person who can control their own chemistry. It is the person who can sit in a room and be bored until a great idea strikes. It is the person who understands that laziness is just a symptom of a hijacked brain. You are not a failure. You are just a human being in a very strange, very digital environment that your ancestors never had to deal with. You have to be your own gatekeeper. So, here is the plan. Tonight, the digital sunset starts. Phone in the other room at 10 p.m. No exceptions. Tomorrow morning, you wake up and you don't touch that device for 60 minutes. You're going to feel the itch. You're going to feel the debt. Let it burn. That burning sensation is your brain recovering its power. Use that 60 minutes to do the one thing you've been avoiding. I don't care if you only do it for 10 minutes. Just start. You're exactly 1 year away from a version of yourself that is unrecognizable. A version of you that is focused, calm, and wealthy in every sense of the word. But that person is only born when you decide to stop taking out loans on your future. Pay the debt. do the work. Let's level up together. Try this tonight. I'll see you in the next one.